Hello, welcome to FightCore USA.
The referee raises his hand, bringing the two fighters together in the center of the cage. Their eyes locked, sizing each other up for the first time in a long time. They circle slowly, their coach is screaming instructions at them, trying to get them to commit to an action first. But all these sounds are muffled. All these sights are blurry. It is as if they were fighting in another dimension, away from the eyes of everyone, including their own. And then the fighters break apart, returning to their corners. This is it. There is no more time. As they get into position, they can hear their name echoing in their head. A battle cry meant to push them forward. And then they remember everything they have worked for, every hour in the gym, every late night spent alone in the training camp, every sacrifice made, every pain endured, every doubt overcome. In this last minute, the only thing that matters is what their coaches told them hundreds of times before. And then they turn their head, catching one last look of their coach. In this quiet moment, they see years of work, they see trust, they see belief, but above all, they see love. A love so pure, it transcends any victory or defeat. The bell rings, signaling the beginning of the end. And as they walk out to the center of the cage, we know that something will never be the same again. These 25 seconds will change everything. And as they lock eyes, ready to exchange the first blows, we know that there are some things that go beyond victory or defeat. Stay calm.
It was just a few moments ago that he had seen his fighter standing victorious in the center of the cage. The referee's arm raised in the air like a statue frozen in time.
And now he stood there, battered and bruised, his face swollen and bloody, his body aching and tired, yet a smile crept onto his face. Because no matter the outcome, he knew his fighter had given it his all. He had followed the game plan. He had stayed calm. It all started months ago when he first laid eyes on the young fighter, a raw diamond in the rough, full of potential, but lacking the guidance and discipline to truly shine. He saw himself in that young man, the same burning desire, the same hunger for greatness. And so he took him under his wing, becoming not just a coach, but a mentor, a father figure, a friend. They spent hours upon hours in the gym, day after day, week after week, pushing through pain and exhaustion, learning and growing together. The fighter listened intently to every word he spoke, absorbing every piece of advice, every tip, every trick. He wanted to win, but more importantly, he wanted to make his coach proud. But as the fight night approached, he could sense a growing anxiety within his fighter, a fear that threatened to consume him. In the days leading up to the event, he would watch the young fighter pace his hotel room, unable to focus on his training, haunted by nightmares of defeat. So he did something drastic. He brought his family into the equation, surrounding the fighter with the love and support of his closest friends and relatives. He wanted the fighter to know that no matter what happened, he wasn't alone. On the day of the fight, he gave his fighter one last pep talk, his voice shaking with emotion. "Remember everything we've worked for," he said, his eyes locking with his fighters. "Show them who you are, who you can be." But most importantly, he told him to stay calm as the first bell rang, signaling the start of the fight. He watched his fighter walk into the center of the cage, his chest puffed out, his eyes blazing with determination. He was nervous, but he was also excited, ready to show the world what he was made of. The coach smiled, knowing that his fighter had taken his advice to heart. Throughout the fight, the coach screamed instructions, trying to guide his fighter's every move, trying to help him maintain his composure. But the fighter was in control. He was mobbing, dodging, blocking, throwing punches and kicks with precision and power, and all the while, the coach's words echoed in his head, "Stay calm." Then it happened. The fighter was hit, staggered back, his eyes wide with shock. The crowd roared, sensing a shift in momentum. But the fighter remained calm. He shook off the blow, steadied himself, and came back swinging. The coach's heart raced, but he knew that his fighter was going to be okay. He had trained for this, prepared for any eventuality. And in the end, it was the fighter's calmness that won him the day. When the final bell rang, signaling the end of the fight, the coach rushed into the cage, enveloping his fighter in a tight embrace. No matter the outcome, he knew that his fighter had done his best, that he had followed his advice, that he had stayed calm. As the announcer's voice boomed through the stadium, declaring his fighter the winner, the coach couldn't help but smile. It was more than just a victory. It was a testament to the power of staying calm in the face of adversity. He looked at his fighter, his face still flushed with the thrill of the game, his eyes shining with happiness. In that moment, coach knew that whatever the future held, his fighter was ready for it. He had learned to stay calm, and as he stood there watching his fighter celebrate, he knew that this was just the beginning. His final words will echo in a fighter's mind forever. They were just moments away from the main event. The crowd was roaring. The lights were blinding, and the energy was electric. The fighter's hands were raised high above his head as he made his way to the octagon, soaking in the deafening cheers of the crowd. But amidst the chaos, his mind was racing. Doubts and fears were creeping in, threatening to consume him. But then he remembered his coach's words, his voice booming in his ears, cutting through the noise and the confusion. "You got this," his coach had said, his eyes filled with unwavering belief. "I know you do. Don't let the noise get to you. You're the one in control. Let your actions speak for you." And in that moment, the fighter realized that the noise wasn't just coming from the crowd. It was coming from within him, the roar of his own doubts and fears. But he took a deep breath, calming himself down. He focused on the task at hand, on the fight that was about to begin. He was a warrior, a competitor, and he was ready to show the world what he was made of. As the bell rang, signaling the start of the fight, the fighter stepped into the octagon with newfound clarity and focus. He moved with precision and grace, his every move a testament to his training, his discipline, his resilience. Through the pain and the fatigue, he kept his eye on the prize, driven by the memory of his coach's words. And in the end, when the decision was announced and the fighter's arm was raised in victory, he knew that it was more than just a win. It was a validation of his journey, his struggles, his sacrifices, his unwavering spirit. As he stood there on the podium, the gold medal around his neck, the crowd cheering his name, he closed his eyes, remembering the countless hours spent training, the sweat, the blood, the tears. He thought of his coach, his unwavering support, his belief in him. Even when the fighter doubted himself, he whispered softly, "Thank you.
And in that moment, he knew that his coach's words would echo in his mind forever.
You got this, his coach had said, his voice booming in his ears, cutting through the noise and the confusion. I know you do. Don't let the noise get to you. You are the one in control. Let your actions speak for you. And as the fighter stood there, basking in the glory of his victory, he knew that his coach was right. Had done? Italiano! He had proven himself, not just to the world, but to himself. Because in the end, it wasn't just about winning the fight. It was about overcoming the doubts, conquering the fears, and staying true to oneself. And that, he knew, was the greatest victory of all.
Okay guys, thank you for watching my videos.